Hey, you're about to hear a great word from our teaching team. At Freedom House, we're about equipping you to experience Christ's freedom every day. We would love to connect with you.
We stream our live services Sundays at 10:30 and 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. You can join us at freedomhouse.cc/live.
I hope you enjoyed this message.
Mama always said. Well, for all you moms out there that have always said the things that you've said to encourage us, we just want to tell you how much we appreciate you today. As you leave today, we actually have a little box of chocolates just for you as our way of saying thank you for laboring over us. Thank you for birthing us. Thank you for slapping us around when we needed it, for spanking us, and even for threatening our lives. That's right, you know you do it. If I've heard it once, I've heard it 100 times from my mama. I brought you into this world and I can take you out. But seriously, thank you so much for encouraging us to be the men and women that we are today. We wouldn't be who we are without you, and we just want to say thanks. So right now, I want all the mamas to stand. Let's give it up for our moms. Look at all those mamas. We honor you today. Thank you so much. I also want to give it up for the mama of this house, Pastor Penny Maxwell. She watches over us as if we were her own kids. I've received a couple spankings from her myself. That's not fun. It's never fun. But I want to give it up for her because she's out west today. She's actually preaching, encouraging other men and women today with our senior pastor, Troy Maxwell. And so just want to give it up for them today. Well, my name is Stephanie Blanton. I'm the executive director of ministries here. And I'm also a mama to two beautiful girls. Thank you. I have a 28-year-old daughter who is now a mama herself. That makes me a grandma. Make sure you get that right. Don't call me grandma. And then I'm a mom of a 15-year-old daughter who's sitting right here in the front. And she is about to drive her mama nuts as she learns how to drive a car. Well, all I can say is thank God for Aaron Blanton because he is willing to get in that car with her and embrace the nuts so that we can get this girl where she's going. Isn't that what motherhood is all about? That's what parenting is all about. It's about getting our kids where they're going. Well, today, I want to talk a little bit about Forrest Gump. You know, you saw the clip. How many of you have seen that movie, Forrest Gump? All right, any of you millennials out there, if you haven't seen it, you will by the end of the week because it is such a good movie. You'll be encouraged to watch it today. Well, in the clip you just watched, Forrest, he was sitting on the bench and he made a statement. He said, you can tell a lot about a person by their shoes, where they're going, where they've been. And as moms and dads, raising kids is all about that. It's all about getting them to where they're destined to be. It's all about where they're going. And, you know, to do that, though, sometimes it's difficult because we've got to let go. It's difficult to let go. And I want to tell you my first story of letting go of this one. And we were coming home from the hospital, and how many of you know that the hospital, they just don't leave you alone? Like, they come in all through the night. You're trying to sleep. You've just birthed this child, and you're trying to sleep, and it's endless interruptions. Like, let me give you your medicine, and here, feed the baby, and, you know, whatever. Let me check your vitals. I mean, just leave me alone already. So I couldn't wait to get home and just have a minute with my child. Well, we pull in the driveway, and the whole family's there to greet us. And they want to see the baby. And you know what? Once the baby's born, it's no longer about the mama, right? So they begin to pass the baby around. Everybody wants to hold the baby. Then my husband comes home with these pictures that he just developed of our first couple of days of life with our new little girl. And they begin to pass those around too, forgetting about the mama. Well, I wish I could tell you that I handled that moment with grace, but some kind of hormonal spirit just took over. And all of a sudden, I began to yell, would everybody just go home and leave us alone? I need a minute with my daughter. Well, within minutes, the whole place cleared out. And I sat with my daughter, these beautiful pictures, and a lot of guilt for not sharing. The point is is when our kids are growing up, we have to let them go. We must share them with family and friends. Then we watch them take their first little steps. And then we buy them a bigger pair of shoes and they're off and running. Then they go to kindergarten. We have to upgrade to the next size and we send them off to school. And then the next thing you know, they're graduating high school and we're buying their newest pair of shoes and sending them off to college or to start their career. Motherhood is all about letting go. It's all about getting our kids where they're going. But every one of these moments for a parent, they can be bittersweet. They can even be nutty. Mom always said life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, how many chocolate lovers do I have out there today? Come on, you're going to enjoy that box of chocolates when you leave today. Well, the one thing about eating a box of chocolates, there's some ground rules, okay? You have to go all in. Well, how many of you have ever, you've carefully selected that piece of chocolate? You know, you're ready to indulge into this box of chocolates and you carefully select the one that you think is filled with that creamy, caramel, gooey center. And you bite into it and you get orange cream. I mean, orange cream. Who in their right mind ever thought about putting something that tastes like baby aspirin in chocolate? I mean, the first thing that I want to do is spit that sucker out and put the rest back in the box. Well, sometimes in life we don't get what we expect. But what we can't do is take a bite of life and then when we don't like what we get, put it back in the box. We can't do that. We've got to go all in. Well, what I love about the story of Forrest Gump is that he went all in. Regardless of if life knocks us down, we've got to keep running our race. And that's what Forrest did. Because of his mom's encouragement, Forrest enjoyed his life like he enjoyed a box of chocolates, no matter what season, no matter if it was nutty, sweet, or bitter, he enjoyed his life. Listen to just some of what life gave Forrest. He was abandoned by his dad. He was told he was stupid and he was known as the local idiot. He was handicapped and he was bullied. He watched his lifetime friend Jenny destroy her life. He fought in war and experienced many losses. One was his best friend, Bubba. He lost his mom to cancer, and eventually he even lost Jenny. But regardless of Forrest's handicaps, his IQs, or his loss, he kept running his race. In fact, as a kid, he ran right out of his leg braces as he was being chased by bullies. And we all know the famous line that Jenny yelled in the movie, and I want you to yell it with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Run, Forrest, run! Don't you love that? That's the best part of the movie. Well, after that, he went to college and he ran right into the end zone, leading his school to victory. In the service with bullets chasing him down, he led wounded soldiers to safety, saving many lives. After the war, he ran across the entire country. And I think he did it 3 times or something. But even after the losses of his friends, the losses of his mom, he kept running his race. You know, I believe Forrest kept running because of what Mama always said. Mama always said, Forrest, you are no different than anyone else. Forrest, stupid is as stupid does. And Forrest, your shoes will take you anywhere. It was his mom's encouragement that kept him running. Today we're going to talk about a mama in the Bible who encouraged her son to keep running his race. And her name was Mary. Let's begin reading in Luke chapter 2. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. And everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn son. His name was Jesus. Mamas, even dads, I can't think of a sweeter moment than when we first held our babies. But can you imagine holding the Son of God? Can you imagine that? That had to be one of Mary's sweetest and most treasured moments. But how many of you moms and dads out there know that those sweet moments, they don't last long? They are crammed between labor and delivery and sleep deprivation. Sometimes you've got to find them. Sometimes the sweet moments in life, they're all mixed in with the nutty moments. And what we've got to do is savor the sweet. Parenting is a little nuttier than expected. Life is a little nuttier than expected. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm talking to mamas today because this is Mama's Day. Is that all right? We can do that, right? But what I want you to know that you could be in a nutty season and still find the sweet. Maybe you're going to college and working a job. Maybe you're working 2 jobs like my mom did just to make ends meet, just to put food on the table. Maybe you're going after something big and you don't necessarily have the courage to do it. You don't feel like you can make it. God wants you to know today that He's got a destiny for you and you can do it. And you can find those sweet moments in the midst of the nutty ones. It's in these moments that we have to choose to savor the sweet. We could focus on the struggle, but I want you to know today that what we should do is savor the sweet. Let's take a look at how Mary somehow was able to savor the sweet amidst all the circumstances and all the distractions. The news of Mary's pregnancy, it was not received well by Joseph. Joseph knew that it was not his kid. So he decided he was going to call off the engagement. He said, "This is over. I am done. I'm putting this girl away privately, but I'm going to put her away." Well, fortunately, an angel of the Lord came and he told Joseph, "This is the Son of God." And so he continued with the marriage. Then when Mary was 9 months pregnant, she had to ride the back of a donkey for 90 miles to get to Bethlehem where they were to register. Now, can you imagine? Can you literally imagine that? Think about 90 miles in a car takes about an hour and a half. But can you imagine 90 miles on the back of a stubborn donkey? Scholars actually believe that took 4 to 7 days for them to get to their destination. Now imagine being 9 months pregnant and riding the back of a donkey. I couldn't even make it through the night without getting up 3 or 4 times to go to the bathroom. Can you imagine how many stops they had to make just to get there? The point is that by the time Mary got to her destination, the first thing that she probably needed to do was go to the bathroom, and I'm sure she wanted a hot bath and a comfortable bed to sleep in. But the problem was there were no hotels. No Ritz-Carlton opened the door for them. Not to mention Tom Bodette from the Motel 6, he didn't even leave the light on for him. What is up with that? There were no hotels to be found. To make matters worse, Mary found herself in a stable among animals, giving birth to the Son of God. Can I submit to you that Mary probably lost her mind by this point? Giving birth to the King of Kings, the Son of God, in a stable among animals. But let's take a look at how she responded, how she was able to savor the sweet in the midst of the crazy moments in life. The Bible says in Luke 2:7, she wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. Mary immediately began nurturing her son. She knew as a mama what she had to do. It's called mama's intuition. It's called the Holy Spirit. She wrapped him up to keep him warm, and she protected him from all the elements that he was exposed to in his first few days of life. Mary's priority was Jesus. She learned to savor the sweet amongst the crazy moments, amongst the circumstances. How many times in life have we missed it? How many times do we wish that we could go back and relive that moment all over again? Maybe it was a fight with your spouse, and you wish you could take back the words that you said. I'm just here to encourage you today that maybe it's time we need to slow down a bit, eliminate some distractions in our life, and savor the sweet things. Well, here are 4 distractions that can steal our attention and our joy if we let them. You may want to write these down. Comparison, trying to be like everyone else when God made us an original. He doesn't make copies, yet we, for some reason, try to copy everyone else. Number 2, gossip. Getting all caught up in the ugly stuff that's going on and telling other people about it because we're trying to make ourselves feel better. That's a trap of the enemy trying to divert you from your destiny. Don't get caught up in that. Number 3, overreacting. Losing your cool over the things that you can't control. We've got to learn sometimes to just roll with the punches. And number 4, and most importantly, I believe, is a lack of priorities. Not putting first things first. These mixed up priorities, I believe, come due to a lack of trust. The reason I say that, and I'm going to give you an example, is that maybe we work 7 days a week because we don't believe that there's enough. We have a poverty mindset. We don't believe that there's ever enough. Or maybe we overwork because we believe that we have to perform for God's approval when He says that you're enough. What's sad about that is that if we don't slow down long enough to listen to His voice, we'll never know that He's enough, and we'll never know that we're enough. Today, especially with social media, it's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing and miss the people right in front of our face. We could all be sitting in a living room together. How many of you, it's happened to you, you're either that or you're sitting even out to eat and everybody's on their phones? What if we could just put those down for a little bit and reconnect? What if we could just look in the person's eyes across the table from us and say, you know what, today I'm going to set all distractions aside and just let you know how important that you are to me. And honestly, even kids, tell your mamas that today. Sit with your mamas today. I know that you're busy. Life is busy. You have friends. You got all kinds of things going on. But you're growing up, and mama has a hard time letting go. Sometimes dad has a hard time letting go. So just make sure that when you're out there trying to find your way, that you stop every now and then and you tell your parents how important they are to you. We can get all mixed up in the distractions, or we can just stop, like I said, and savor the sweet. And now that we've learned that that's what we need to focus on, I want to show you something else. Today, I want to show you that nutty is normal. It's normal, and I'll prove it to you. Can you guys say nutty is normal? Nutty is normal. Every box of assorted chocolates is filled with my favorite. It's called the peanut cluster. It's the first one that I go for before anyone else gets their hands on it. I want that thing. And I love the peanut cluster, but sometimes life is like a peanut cluster. All the salty mixed in with the sweet that you can't sort the chocolate from the nuts. It's just all mixed in together. Life is all mixed up. Well, I want to tell you about one of my nutty moments. Cool with that? All right, here we go. This is kind of embarrassing. So I'm out shopping. This happened about 28 years ago. When my oldest was a baby, I was out shopping. I pull in the Kmart parking lot. I get out. I go around. My hands are full, and I just throw all my stuff down in the front passenger seat, including my keys. I hit the unlock button, shut the door, go to the back door to open it, only to find that I'd locked the car, not unlocked it. I was locked out of my car. Well, how many of you have been locked out of your car before? Oh yeah, tons of you. How crazy is that to be locked out of your car? I mean, your whole day's rearranged. Well, what made this even nuttier is that in my back seat sat my less than 1-year-old baby girl. I mean, it was crazy. And so I thought, oh, no big deal. I'll just call for help. Well, that was before cell phones. There was no way that I was going to call for help. And then I thought, well, I'll just grab somebody in the parking lot. Like, somebody will help me, some kind soul, some good Samaritan, they're going to help me. Well, do you know that nobody ever showed up? Like, I waited and waited. And next thing I had to do was make a decision. I had to walk away from my baby girl to go into Kmart and ask for help. Well, I get in there, and they didn't have a Jimmy. I couldn't get in my car. Next thing you know, here come the fire trucks. All the sirens blaring, and all of a sudden, all these people begin to gather. I'm like, where were you 5 minutes ago when I needed you? I mean, this is ridiculous. It's this big scene now. So they finally get there, and of course, they didn't just let me in the car and give me my baby. No, they grilled me. They wanted to know that I was the person I said I was, and that that was my car, and that that was my baby. I was a little nuts. But you know what's ironic about the whole story is the fact that my daughter, she slept the entire time. I mean, I thought that I had just ruined her life and she's sleeping. The point is that sometimes we make things way bigger than they actually have to be. I did not ruin her life that day. Well, what about sweet Mary, Mother of Jesus? Let's see what her nutty moment looked like. Luke 2:41 through 52. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. They're going to a party. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were unaware of it. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. But when his parents saw him, they were mad. Listen, his mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us this way?" Can you hear that in a mama voice? Why have you treated us this way? That's my mama voice. "Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." And this is what he says. "Well, why were you searching for me? Didn't you know that I had to be in my father's house?" But they did not understand what he was saying to them. Then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. But his mother treasured all these things in her heart, and Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. Now, can you imagine you're coming home from a party and you look in the back seat of the van with all your relatives and you realize you just left little Jimmy 24 hours down the road? You would lose your flippin' mind. I mean, you'd be going nuts. So, you know, one of the things that we can easily do in these crazy moments that life throws at us is just blow them up. We can even make it about ourselves. When Mary found Jesus, this is what she said. I'll repeat it again. "How could you treat us this way?" She immediately began blaming the 12-year-old for her lack of responsibility. Who was responsible for the 12-year-old? Mary and Joseph. Instead of taking ownership of her mistakes, she blamed it on him. But I want you to notice how the 12-year-old responds in this moment. "Why were you searching for me? Didn't you know that I'd be in my father's house? Mom, Dad, don't you know that I'm growing up? I'm trying to step into my destiny." Mary missed it. She missed it. Instead of taking that moment to say, "You know what? I'm so proud of you, son, for doing something new, for doing something hard, for stepping out and doing something that you're destined to do. I'm so proud of you." No, she missed it. She totally missed it. Why? I believe it's because while Jesus viewed this as normal, she viewed it as nutty. I believe that Mary wanted to hang on to the child of Jesus instead of help him become the man of Jesus who changed the world. Sometimes as parents, we want to hang on, but sometimes we've got to let go. What we fail to do many times in these crazy nutty moments in life is to savor the sweet. We have to adjust our focus. For Mary, that meant adjusting her parenting. You know, sometimes we have to adjust to our kids growing up. Because sometimes we treat things that are perfectly normal as abnormal, and then we wonder, like, why our kids don't relate to us. What I want you to know today that sometimes life is crazy and you can't separate the chocolate from the nuts. It's just normal. Can you say nutty is normal? Well, now that we've learned we need to focus on savoring the sweet, that we need to find the sweet moments amongst the nutty because it's normal. We're going to learn that also sometimes in life we have to bear the bitter. In every box of chocolates we find dark chocolate. Just like in every life, there are dark moments. It's in these moments, though, that our destiny is defined. One of the darkest moments in Forrest's life was his last with his mom. I want you to take a look. What do we do when life gives us bitter chocolate? What do we do when everything just seems to get dark? Do we resign ourselves to the bench of life because we think that we're no longer needed in the race? Do we quit because to keep going means that we might get hurt again? You know, we could do that. We could, but I want to show you today how Mary finished her race. And I want you to know today that God has a race for you to keep on running, and he has a finish line for you to cross. So when you feel like quitting, I want you to do what Mary did. Let's take a look at John 19:25 through 27. But standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing near her, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her to his own home. Mary stood at the cross, and as Jesus was pierced with pain, or as Jesus was pierced for our sin, Mary was pierced with pain. Mary stood with her son at his darkest moment and at her darkest. As a mother of Jesus, she stood at the cross. And when the enemy tried to strip her of her motherhood, as a mother, she left the cross because Jesus commissioned her as a mother. Often, the bitter moments of our lives, they try to rob us of our true identity. Mary was destined to be a mom, and I want you to know today that she fulfilled her purpose. Mary stayed with Jesus' church. She stayed with his followers, praying with them, consoling them, and being the mother that she was commissioned to be. She didn't sit out when life got dark and bitter. She ran her race and fulfilled her destiny. Well, I want you to know, Freedom House, that you have a destiny on your life. And it's time that you get back in the race and you keep on running because you have a finish line to cross. I happen to know that there are men and women, there are boys and girls that don't have parents. And you can be that mama or daddy to that kid, to that adult. I sat with one last week who cried her eyes out because she's never felt the love of her dad. In that moment, I was able to pray with her because I knew what she'd been through. You see, my dad left too. I was raised by a single mom, but that does not give me an excuse to sit on this bench. There are people out there that need to know that they are loved, and that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. That's what I'm going to do. Well, there is someone else in this audience today that is going to do that with the rest of her life too, and we are going to honor her right now. Robin, will you please come to the platform? Yes, ma'am. I want you to come up here because this lady right here, she does not quit. She will not quit. I want you to come on up here because we are going to honor you. We want to give you something special today, and we want to say thank you for not quitting. This is Robin Fletcher, everyone. I want you to come over here and sit on the bench with me. Robin lost her son. And what I want you to know today is that God has destined you to be a mother, that the enemy can never strip you of your true identity. God has a race left for you to run. And I just want to say thank you from Freedom House for not quitting. Thank you for not giving up on his people. Thank you for not quitting serving his people. Thank you for the gifts that you have left inside of you that you're going to give to his kids. You go on and you be the mom that you're commissioned to be. And I know you're hurting, but if you can muster up the strength right now to tell these people why you haven't quit, they need to hear it, Robin.
I just know that God loves me and he loved my son. And just believing and trusting in God's word have kept me. The grace of God have kept me. And it's not been easy. But I'm just trusting God that his death and our relationship, that God will use it to bless other people, and that we would know that God is able. He's able to keep us. He's able to strengthen us. He's able to guide us. And that's all. I just trust God. I just believe him and I trust him.
Well, I believe that your son's life was not in vain. And I believe that he still lives in you. And I believe that you are going to go on and be the mother that you're commissioned to be. I believe that you're going to be able to share this story, and that God is going to take a mess, what looks so dark, what looks so bitter, and turn it around for sweet, turn it around for good. And the good news is that you are going to see your son today. I mean, not today. You're going to see your son again. You are going to see him again. And maybe you'll see him tonight in your dreams. But you are going to see him again. I love you. We have a gift for you. This is a Tiffany necklace inscribed with the word mom, because no one can ever strip you of your identity. Everyone, I want you to stand and give it up for Robin Fletcher. Today, there are many of you that, you want to know the sweetness of God. You haven't experienced that yet because you don't have that relationship with Jesus. Can everyone just close their eyes for a moment? God came today to reach you. He came today to capture your heart. It's not by accident that you came to this service today. If you want to have a relationship with Jesus, if you want God to come in and make your life sweet because maybe you've never experienced a sweet life, if that's you today, I want you to raise your hand. Just raise it up. Raise it up. If you want to have a relationship with Jesus, if you want God to do something new today, just raise your hand. Thank you. I see your hands. I see your hands all the way in the back right. I see your hand in the front. In the back center, I see your hand. And then there's another group that I want to talk with today, and that is for anyone who feels like life is just a little bit bitter right now. You've dreamed dreams and they haven't come true. You didn't get quite what you were expecting. God wants to do something new in your life today. I believe that he wants to turn your bitter into sweet. If you're experiencing anything like that, whether it's a loss of relationship with someone you love, whether it's a dream that hasn't come true, whether it's a loss, maybe like Robin experienced, if that's you, just raise your hand. Raise it up high right now. Don't be shy. Just raise it up high. Hands all over the room. Leslie is going to minister through this song. And as she does, I want you to get up out of your seat right now. Just start coming. Just start coming. Get up out of your seat because we want to pray with you today. Just make your way. Leslie, take it away.
Thanks again for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this message. Don't forget to subscribe.
And hey, if you want to find out more about our church or how you can be a part, go to freedomhouse.cc.